After a family tragedy, a teen boy vows to become the best basketball player in Japan and help his team win the big game. If a sports movie is done correctly, it can be thrilling and suspenseful. It can be inspirational and full of heart. When you mix together all of those elements, you have the ingredients for a movie that appeals to a lot of people, not just sports fans. The first slam dunk sounds like it would take place in the late 1800s, when some man wearing a monocle with a curly mustache would discover that he could jump and slam the ball directly into the peach basket that James A. Naismith, the inventor of basketball, used to use. But it's actually about a modern-day basketball team in Japan. The movie isn't about the first slam dunk. In fact, there are several slam dunks in the movie. And come to think of it, I have no idea why they named it the first slam dunk. The movie is based on Slam Dunk, a manga that ran from 1990 to 1996. For people like me who aren't familiar with the word manga, or manga, I'm not sure, it's essentially a Japanese comic book. The movie is an anime, which is a genre of movie that I haven't seen a whole lot of. As I was watching, I was reminded of an old Nintendo game that I played recently called Tecmo Cup Soccer, which is a sports game with a story that follows a young hotshot soccer star as he tries to bring his team of superstars to be the best in the world while his brother, who is better than he is out with an injury. I didn't need a huge backstory to enjoy an old sports video game, but once I started playing it, I realized that the story is actually what makes the game so great. Now, while the stories are not similar, I found that the tone of Tecmo Cup Soccer and the tone of the first Slam Dunk to be strangely similar. First, let's talk about the animation. Much like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first Slam Dunk is full of interesting and unique animations that I just haven't seen before. The scenes on the basketball court, which is most of the movie, are not in a full 24 or 30 frames a second like a traditional animated movie. It's a much lower frame rate, yet somehow still feels more real than if it were at that traditional frame rate. The way the players move feels so organic, almost like they used the rotoscoping animation technique from A Scanner Darkly, where there was real actors acting out the scenes and then each frame was hand painted over to make it look animated. I have never seen such realistic movements in any animated movie. Every twist and turn and jump and spin is fluid. When the action stops, the players breathe and sweat. It's weird how animating the players' breathing made them feel so much more real. The story is told in a very interesting way as well. The entire movie takes place over the course of a single basketball game, and every few minutes we see a player make a great play or mess up spectacularly, and then we see that player's reaction, and then we go into a flashback and learn more about that character's history. On the court, the players clearly have other things on their mind, and these flashbacks flesh out each of those stories. The entire movie takes place over a 2-hour game, but we get to see the full lifetime story of a bunch of the players on these teams. And because it's a movie, the game is more thrilling than any real-life basketball game has ever really been. It's full of lead changes, insane plays, and a couple of things that probably would have caused players to be ejected. Now, I haven't watched or played basketball in many years, but as a kid, I was really into it. The first Slam Dunk was able to bring back the energy and excitement that I felt for the game all those years ago. It made me want to root for the good guys. And in a lot of action movies, there's a bomb that's counting down to 0, and with each second that comes off of the clock, the tension mounts. The same can be said for the first Slam Dunk. As the clock counts down, each possession of the ball becomes more important. The timer is a built-in tension builder, and much like real basketball, the last 2 minutes of the game took about 30 minutes of runtime of the movie. The first Slam Dunk has become the third highest grossing animated film of all time in Japan, which is saying something with all of the great animated movies that have come out of that country. You don't need to like anime or basketball, you just have to like a good story with interesting characters who you grow to care for. It's thrilling, suspenseful, inspirational, and full of heart. Dribbling a basketball, driving the lane, fast breaks, playing defense, practicing at a local park, team huddles,